What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Onyx Report, Black Masculinist news for the day. Hope all of you are well. Like, share, subscribe, join, and donate. Support the channel if you will, so we can continue to keep bringing you independent Black male thought. Shout out to Aaron in the house, Scott, Indigo, AL, what's going on? Christopher, what's up? Shout out to Damien. Appreciate that support, man. Hope you're well. Excalibur, D. Yeah, a few brothers already up in here. Mr. Shug, what's going on? So, MLR, man, good to see you in here, man. Hi, Scholar, what's up? Yeah, y'all see what it is, man. You know, I'm gonna play a little bit. It's just a very short video to give you some context, but we have transitioned and are continuing to transition into a whole nother area of life, whole nother quality of life, whole nother set of issues. And this is something that's been going on since time immemorial, but it has come back around yet again. So let me go ahead and share with you what we're looking at. So take a listen, if you will. This woman's channel is called Miss Too Thick for You. Here you go.
At this point, as high as everything is, I am willing to have a living roommate that I have sexual intercourse with and help me pay for things. I don't know if I'm quite ready to call that a partner, but we will have some type of relationship. It may not be the relationship that you're looking for, because I don't know if I want to say that I'm in a relationship, but we'll work that out at a later time. But as of right now, it is very critical that I get someone in my household. Groceries high, gas high. Yeah, we'll work it out. Just come on. I mean, at this,
just come on. Now, many of the listeners, you guys have run into variations of this over the last few years, but there's one gentleman that called this out a while ago. Shout out to Derek. Appreciate that support. And we have a tendency to not give people their flowers while they are here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Invite my good brother up. How you doing, man?
Hey, Doc, before we get started, sir, I just want to tell you thou art not shit.
Look, man, I am. I'm sure it exists, but I'm going to officially acknowledge the hashtag BGS was right at this time, and that's why I invited you up here today. I invited you to let you know about the hashtag and to comment, because you had called this 4 or 5 years ago at the least.
I did, yes.
And at the time, and in classic ain't shit fashion, you labeled some of these coffee girls. I was
yes.
like. But seeing this, you know, I gotta get your thoughts on that. As soon as I watched it, I was like, I gotta hear BGS on this.
Yeah, I mean, that's a twist on it. Well, that's a twist on the old-fashioned arrangements, right? It's almost like what they used to do with the stepdaddy thing, right? That this is just a twist on the stepdaddy shit. In other words, gas high, food's high. I got a house. I got kids. I got a household, but I need help, and I know I just can't ask for help uh, on the strength, right? Because I'm not relationship worthy. So rather than that, we gonna make a deal, okay? Uh, share the household, share the bills, all that kind of stuff. Come in, plug yourself in, and sex and all the other stuff that is included.
But it's, you notice the regression though. Like she had a hard time saying anything remotely related to relationship. She
Yeah,
didn't even want to say partnership. Like there's a regression because when you talk about the
yeah,
stepdaddy thing,
yeah.
when I was growing up, the stepdaddy was obviously in a relationship with your mother.
Mm-hmm.
There was an acknowledgement of a
Mm-hmm.
relationship. This looks like a regression from
Yeah,
even that.
yeah. It is. It is. This is old school, man. Where you're able-bodied worker and you work good and you take care of yourself and all that kind of stuff. And she could approach you. I got two kids by two different fathers, but I got a house. I cook. I clean. I service. I'll service you. And what I need is help running the house.
This the Indigo got me dying. He said nesting partners.
Nesting. Well, yeah, nesting partners. I it's more like seeking an arrangement,
Wow.
and that's what she's talking about. It's an arrangement.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
not even a partnership; it's an arrangement.
What what would you say has caused the decline of the of even this? Because we've seen marriage decline, we've seen
Yeah,
quality of relationships decline, but
yeah,
when you're actually talking about a sexual exchange declining to a degree where she couldn't even voice it, I mean,
yeah.
what do you see all of these declines kind of leading to?
It's okay. It's something that was obvious maybe 100 years ago, but it's
Mhm.
not obvious now because you got women that are independent. They don't really necessarily need your help, to get by. Okay, and so they had a lot of choices. Okay, I can pick a guy that I like, or I can pick a guy to have sex with. I don't need to make a deal. You know, I don't need a horse, like Obsidian used to say, horse trade. Okay, okay, this is horse trading. Okay, this is almost like a business deal
Oh,
centered around sex. Okay,
right,
so is it acculturated prostitution? Ron would say it's acculturated prostitution.
right,
I'm here not necessarily. I'm here helping you with your bills and whatnot because you're trading my resources and my help for sex.
right.
Because really, the only thing I'm getting out of it is unless I don't have a roof over my head. Maybe that's an addition to it. But the thing is, your main key is sex. So if you ain't got no partner and you want a sexual relationship, you know, I'm offering you a deal. So
Shout out to Donnie. Donnie invoked his inner R. Kelly. He said, "Roomy lover
rooming lover
friends."
friends.
Oh man. So for men who fall into this, who engage it, what can they expect? What happens with this over time?
um, over time, normally what happens over time, what I've seen is over time, this could last years because she gets comfortable with it. She's having sex with you.
Mhm,
So for her to have sex with you, she kind of has at least had some inkling that she kind of likes you. Okay.
mhm,
Okay. So, and she gets used to the support and they get comfortable.
mm.
And depending on how bad she's had it before, she'll be reluctant to boot you up because you have to do that all over again. So normally, no, I've seen this um, relationships like this let you grow into marriages. Really,
Okay.
I've seen it grow into marriages. It just depends. But
What what would you say are the downsides of this kind of thing?
the downside, just like any other relationship, you could be, does she have a functional household? Because you could be uh, putting yourself into a dysfunctional household, okay,
Right.
where abuse, um, if they're female children, okay, you got to watch out for that because you got to trust that you won't get accused of anything because a lot of the laws have changed since, and you by being a male plugging yourself into a female household like that, you put yourself at risk.
Yes,
So
sir.
you really got to vet this chick. You just don't want to jump in and if she's a single woman, because I don't know if she looks like she has children. Okay, she's got that vibe about her. But if she doesn't have children, it's not as bad. But if she's got kids, stuff like that, then you got to take a step back.
Okay. So be mindful, most particularly of women with
Yeah,
daughters.
girl daughters. Yeah, girl
Mhm.
daughters, and then plugging yourself into it, and then because you're not just helping her with the bills, you're plugging yourself into a household.
Right.
So it's not one of those things that I'm just gonna, pay some bills, I'm gonna have a little sex, and then I'm just gonna roll out and do what I want to do. You're plugging yourself into a household. So she's because she's not saying I need the gas high, this high, that's high. I'm not just plugging a roommate in. Okay, what she's doing is she's getting somebody into her household. That, and to me, that's a different kind of language.
Mm, mm.
It sounds like to me. Okay, that's what it sounds like to me. And she's willing to have sex, so that means it's more than just a roommate
Mhm.
to help with the bills.
I've actually been seeing a lot more of these. This was just one that I grabbed
Oh yeah.
show, but running across social media, brother send me like I said, I'm probably up to about somewhere between 70 to 100 messages a day across each platform.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't save the link, I don't even remember where it was, who sent it, or where to find it again. So
Mm-hmm.
I've seen several of these in the last, really, I'd say the last month, especially. I've
Oh
seen
yeah. Oh
about
yeah.
six
Yeah.
or seven.
Yeah.
Um, talk a little bit about what the environment is doing to cause it, and how many women are starting to adapt.
Okay. It's really really they haven't adapted yet because it's so sudden. Okay, what's going on in globally with internationally is causing not only Europe but the United States to go through what I call extreme stagflation, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I was listening to I probably should have captured the audio, right? Okay, and the guy said if you're making $300,000, right, it's 10% inflation, right? If you're making medium wage, it's it's more like 30% inflation. He said if you're
Okay.
making more than that, basically you're getting killed out there. Okay, so because the inflation is on commodities, right? Groceries, gasoline, your energy bills, um, that kind of stuff, right? The basics, right? The basic staples of life, right?
Mhm.
And for a rich person, a high value man, it's an inconvenience. It's an extra cost, but it's not the cost that the average person or the medium wage worker is going to make. To have that. It's hurting them. It's taking third a third to 40%
Oh,
of their paycheck. That's a lot.
mm.
That's not including you know rent, because rent's up too. So everything is higher, and
And
people are
is
getting
it
killed out there.
and how much higher is it looking to get, do you think?
No, but nobody even knows because this event that's going on, um, and the sanctions that come behind it, um, it, it it's so unending because it could get a lot worse depending on
Mm.
uh, if Europe goes down, man, and the whole system breaks, then who knows how bad it could get. Hopefully it doesn't, hopefully the cooler heads will prevail and it doesn't get as bad. But the thing is, even if it stays the way it is, say it basically stagnates, and they have price controls and stuff like that, and you just fix right where you are. Um, Now you got to remember, like Facebook laid off, I don't know how many, 700 people.
Mm.
Facebook never laid off. Okay,
Mm.
so that's another thing that's going to affect it, because the companies that normally would make a certain amount of money, they're losing customers. Customers don't have any money. Without customers having money, they got to start laying off people. So it's going to be a vicious cycle for at least this year. Hopefully they can correct it by next year, but at least this year. And a lot of women are scared because you got this big spike in, like she's saying, food, gas high, food high. And like I said, gas went up, what 50, 60%. That's just fuel. Okay.
Mhm.
Food went up, food's gone up. I know on average like 25%.
Right.
So just those two things that you need have gone up. It's a big chunk of your bill, big chunk of your paycheck.
Yeah.
And if you're paycheck to paycheck as it is, guess what? You quickly go from the black to the red within months. So then they're seeing that, and they don't see any end in sight because everybody keeps telling them it's going to get worse. So yeah,
Well,
they're trying to find a chair. Go
Well,
ahead.
and in the status of black wealth, it doesn't take as long for our feet to touch the ground as others. Okay.
Yeah, because because that floor is thin.
Hmm.
Okay, we're already on the first floor. All we got to do is take one step down.
Oh my God.
And sometimes, basically, those are the ones that are elevated. Okay,
Hmm.
you get most black folks are on the floor. Okay,
You would think there would be a push for more quality relationships. You would think there would be a push to try and seduce most particularly black men with an offer of some type of stability, so on and so forth. For it to go this particular way, what does that say?
what it means is that they're not trained to do it. Okay,
Mm,
they don't have the skill to do it, and that's the problem. That's what I've been saying for the last 6 7 years.
mhm.
Okay, they have never been trained to do it. They don't know how to be a wife. They don't know how to be the same kind of that kind of companion. Okay, they've never been. They've been taught to be. They've been basically taught to walk through the world like a man,
Yeah. While being taught that they didn't need men.
while being taught they didn't need men. Yeah.
Right. And that's one of the things I think there's a serious difficulty. Like even when I heard her choking back which words to use
Mm-hmm.
describe the nature of this particular relationship of sorts. One of the things that caught me real quickly is she didn't know how to frame it in any other kind of way.
No.
And there's a difficulty there of trying to understand how exactly you can use men without having to need them.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Suppose that
basically,
you just building some kind of
if you
relationship.
think about it, the way she framed it was a business deal.
Mhm.
She talked to men like a man. Okay, no nonsense.
Mhm.
I know what you want. Basically, I'm giving you what you want because I got this. I need this, this, and this, and this, and I know I'm gonna have to fuck you.
Right.
So just come on. Okay, you don't have to. There's no haggling, no negotiating. Okay, this is what I need. This is what I have to offer. If the offer is good to you, come on.
Well, and I think Marcus says it well. Keep it 100. Y'all support his channel. If you haven't already gone there, go ahead and extend the brother, uh, not only a like, but support the channel and subscribe. He says they want the money without the commitment.
Yeah,
You know,
of course
yeah,
they do. Of course they do.
yeah. And what does that do to a culture over time?
Um, transactional cultures do not work. Okay,
Mm,
transactional cultures usually break down into prostitution, and
mm,
basically that's where they're headed because you're making um, you're making instead of making your ability to be a wife and provide a family as the commodity that's desired. You're making sex as a commodity.
mm,
Sex is not supposed to be the basis of a relationship. It's not. It's supposed to be part of it. I'm not saying that you
hmm
should get it. It's supposed to be
hmm
part of it, but that's not supposed to be the relationship. Okay,
Right,
because what you entering into is a trick hole relationship. Okay, transactional. Okay, and that's
right,
unstable.
right.
It's unstable.
I don't think this was ever supposed to be the primary mode of engagement, but it seems more and more like it's headed that way.
Yeah,
Am
yeah,
I correct in that?
yeah. If what because I was reading, what the first thing that Stalin did, right after he took power,
Mm,
he cleaned out the brothels.
mm,
He did. I think he said. I think then they said they had over like 50, 60,000 prostitutes. So he cleaned out the brothels. So what he did, he cleaned out the brothels, and what he did, he put all the hookers into trade schools. So they got to go out and get a job because he knew that this kind of transactional relationship was actually bring the whole society down.
wow.
Because eventually, what you're going to have is disengaged, indifferent men because you've made sex a commodity, and they're
Well,
going to get disengaged. That's like a women always. Two things right after if you notice right after the vote, right after women got the vote, first thing they did was eliminate the alcohol, which is the bars, and then the second thing what they did is made prostitution illegal.
mm,
So they cleaned out all the whorehouses because men became indifferent to their women, indifferent to families.
right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stacker Star for the Cash App. And AKs and Curtains has an interesting point. He says a partnership is what women want today. it takes the emotional labor and other things off the table, right? So that, and people don't often realize the emotional labor, especially from men, is
Mhm.
actually part of the glue. It's the main part of the glue that keeps families together. It keeps
Yeah.
relationships together. It really does come down to the largesse of men, and we don't talk about it that way because we primarily talk about the emotional labor women give in relationships. But men's emotional labor has materiality to it. It has a
Mhm.
material dimension that provides, supports, and protects and forms and keeps families together. So when
Yeah.
you don't give men the incentive to extend that type of sacrifice,
Mhm.
it goes to just what you're describing.
Right. Right. It become you have a trend when the kids become transactional and not invested into the community, it starts to break apart.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You know, it does.
Shout out to CR Frank. Um, Uneducated Lame says the only way to beat this is to open up your options to all women. Um,
What thing is, it's not the thing is, oh, you can open up your options to all women, but the thing is, when when an economy goes through this, it's going to affect everybody.
mm,
That's the whole thing about coffee girls. It's not going to affect just black women. It's going to affect everybody.
mhm,
Everybody's going to be cutting the deal. I was just looking at a video today. I think it was it. I think it was. Who was it? I can't remember who it was. They're actually talking about a black man with a white woman and a white and his two white stepchildren. Okay,
mhm.
where they actually plug that black man into her family. So basically, black men are going to be a commodity. Black men are going to be a commodity because, like it or not, black men literally can be plugged into any family and afford to work. Literally any family.
We're the most malleable. We're used to this.
We're used to this.
Yeah, this is, I mean, again, I've been seeing this my whole life. And I've said this before, even as a teenager, I never imagined that I would be married to a woman that didn't already have kids. And I'm
Hmm.
saying this at the time I was still a kid because that's all I'd really seen. So
Hmm.
I just thought it was an accepted, part of reality that men just, it wasn't even something I pondered on. It was just something I always assumed would happen.
Yeah, yeah. We used to see a black family, a black woman with kids from one man. That was like, wow, okay, how'd that happen?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really.
Yeah, it's a matter of fact, it was already well. Anyway, I'm going to extend you guys the opportunity to throw a question up here, because we're going to actually we're inaugurating hashtag BGS was right, and we're going to go ahead and give a brother his flowers.
Yeah,
As he,
this is I mean she's cute, she's got a house, so she's got things going for her. So this is not the extreme case. The extreme cases are the women that are already near the ground, man, and they're willing to I mean we've seen examples of it where where women will give you sex for less than the price of a Starbucks coffee
mm,
as
mm,
an exchange for sex, or, for sex or some kind of companionship, and they probably won't look as good as her,
mhm.
because she's fairly attractive. But
Well, this comes from grade I9, right? It says my
mhm.
question is this: what happens when other women make a better offer? This is the winter chaos forecasted would come. What do you think about that?
Well, the thing is if that's really going to affect more the younger millennials and the Z's more than say the Gen X and boomers are already done for the most part, but for the Gen X and older millennials, it's not as big a deal. But the thing is, for the millennials and the Z's, they're already doing it, right? My son is a younger millennial. Okay, he takes the best deal. I'm sure Doc has a son. He hasn't spoken about him, but I'm sure he's a Z. He's not about what race the woman is. I'm sure he's going to grow up to be about where's the best deal for best woman
Yeah.
for him. What's the best deal?
His whole generation, man. Well, I shouldn't say his whole generation. His friends, the
Hmm.
generation of his social network that I interact with. That's not. It's not even a. It's not even a consideration. I mean, the whole race loyalty thing that my generation grew up with. I'm the child of a Panther. That was a factor. His generation. It's
Hmm.
about the best deal. It's about the least amount of stress. And
Hmm.
you add to that my son, in and of himself, is probably one of the most happy-go-lucky, relaxed, laid back, kids you're gonna ever run across. I mean, I
Hmm.
swear, I would have thought he had a weed habit, but but I've known him like that since birth, so that's the only reason I know it's real. he does not entertain stress. And the more that I see these young men that have that kind of attitude,
Mm-hmm.
it creates a whole different dynamic in terms of who they choose. But we got Christopher. Christopher says,
Okay.
as a single person, you get raked across the hot coals when it comes to taxes, and Uncle Sam is getting almost half of that check. Do you think
Yeah.
that's going to influence relationships at this point? When we see
Uh,
people getting married, you see women like this. How do you think that all cross relate?
um, one, as far as getting married, that's a different story. The reason men are not getting married is because one, the laws are number one. That's always the biggest factor. Number two, you're not getting wives. Okay, you're getting partners, and partners have to have equal sharing, and they have to prove themselves. Black women don't like to prove themselves, right? They think that just because like what she's doing, I got pussy. She said nothing else about her household or what she has, what else other benefits he's going to get. I got pussy, and that's all black women think about it. And now men want a better deal. It takes more than that, okay? Because you have other women that have pussy, but they're giving you other stuff on top of that. Okay, they know how to be submissive, know how to be a wife, they know how to cooperate. Okay, um, this woman here, you can even hear it in her voice. She's not going to be cooperative. Okay,
Mm,
she's in charge of her household, her business. I'm just offering you something in exchange.
mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm. I think that's why I was asking you, how does this relationship tend to go over time?
Yeah.
You know, how does it, because, and I'm especially asking because I'm sure brothers are being offered
Yeah.
something of this nature in one way, shape, or form. And you got people like Marcus got no
Well,
problem handling
we
this.
we know, we already know about Marcus. Get your
Marcus been waiting for it to drop, man.
get your 40. Hey, shit, 40's too high, man. Unless you're getting dimes, 40 too high, man.
But I'm just curious where. That's why I was asking, where does this kind of thing go? Because I didn't get cooperation out of her at all. I got, this is strategic, this is a necessity, and and of course you're dealing with people that can't wait for things to go back to some kind of normality. And
Hmm.
normality for them is a safety net that's usually extended by policy, right? There's a safety net that black women have grown accustomed to over the
Hmm.
last few generations that black men know nothing about in terms of personally benefiting from, at least not since we were children.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
wondering where that
Yeah.
goes.
The rich people are going to get hit in this one. Okay, they're going to get hit. So it's gonna trickle on down. But they can weather the storm. The thing is, this just like anything else. Okay, they're at the top with an avalanche. Okay, the avalanche is most devastating when it gets closer to the bottom. We're on the bottom.
Mm,
So when it hits us, basically we're gonna get rolled over.
mm,
if,
mm,
if if, if they can't halt this, and if they can't put a halt to this, because it was already in motion, but thing is it was actually slowed down. But the stuff that's going on now, man, they just sped things up. I'm not gonna really get it. I'm not gonna get Dr. Channel hit by saying why. If you I know I'm gonna do a Patreon probably later on this week to actually get into the meat and potatoes of it. But the thing is that um, like I said, this does not look good. It's
well,
not
and
look
this
good.
is this is why I'm excited about the video you're gonna do dealing with the women that moved to Ghana,
Hmm.
because in some ways, they're trying to escape this dynamic and go a whole nother route, but they're encountering problems. And I don't want you to talk about it now, but I do
Okay.
want people to be on guard for when
Okay.
BGS drops that video, because it is very much connected to this in a particular way.
In a particular way is their expect. The thing is not that they're having, over there, they're not having problems per se with the people. They're having problems with their expectations on how the people should act with them,
Mhm.
because they're expecting those people, because they're black, to act the same way that we act because we're black.
Mm,
They don't even, it never goes through their mind that this is a completely different culture than
mhm,
yours,
mm.
completely different circumstances, and then what they're running up against is their expectations of what it should be versus what it really is. And when
Yeah.
and the men have issues with all the men that I talk to go over there, they have no problem with, because okay, well, I know what to expect. I don't expect any kind of special dispensation. I know I got to come over and earn my keep. I got to earn their respect. Blah blah blah. Women come over expecting certain things to happen. Okay,
Mhm.
and they do things that are not. Uh, normal for women doing in that culture over there, and then run into problems. You're out there doing stuff that's not in their culture, and you're getting treated thusly. Okay.
Right.
And then but you expect to be treated like you're in America. You're not in America. You know, like they said in Wizard of Oz, you're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy.
We got Great I9. Great says, when
Appreciate you.
economies get bad, women at large tend to revert to faux traditionalism and prostitution.
Prostitution's the easiest. Okay. Full traditionalism. I mean, if you listen to the women, and Doc probably has, right? They can't even fake traditionalism, okay? Because they have no
Mm,
clue about what it is. Like
mm,
they've never seen it. Okay. It's like um what they're trying to do is run this repackage the game they've been running. Okay. I'm offering sex, and that's all he needs, because that's at the bottom line. That's what he wants. That's what this young lady did, right?
mm-hmm,
She didn't talk about being caring and being loving and whatever it is. You know what? I need help. I need money. I need help. I know I'm gonna have to have sex with you.
mm-hmm.
So I'm willing to have a sexual relationship with you. Even she said, I can't really call this a relationship
Right. Right.
or a partnership. All right.
Yeah.
She can't
Wouldn't
even
even
call
call
it
it a
that.
partnership. Yeah.
You can't even call it a partnership, because I can't even call it that, because I need help. This is a business transaction.
So you have a question from Akialis. I probably mispronounced that.
Hmm.
It says, what sources do you have on transactional societies? And then you
Okay.
also got
Hmm.
from No Excuse. Men can focus on making money when paper. I guess it's paper play is legal. Instead of
Hmm.
spending time chasing women, men be late
Hmm.
for work because they
Oh
have
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
work.
That's instead of spending 4, 5, 6 hours wooing and a couple of more hours dating, you can actually spend $10 and hit a corner and get
Mhm.
your needs met, if that's what you want. It's like fast food. Okay, you don't have to sit on. It's not a home cooked meal. Okay.
Right.
The other question was, the source. The best source would be look at what Greek has gone through after their collapse, after the financial collapse.
Hmm.
And if you put in Greece and prostitution, a lot of that stuff will come up, where they literally, man, literally collapsed, and literally most of the women had to depend on brothels and street prostitution. Okay, because their traditional ways had collapsed. So that's what you're going to look at. Okay, that's probably the closest as far as transactional society. But other than that, you can look at the Dominican Republic, uh, Brazil. There's other places that are. Gambia is another place where they run transactional societies. The Philippines, even though they're traditional, they still have that element. But the thing is, as far as a Western country that's modern, I would say Greece. Look at Greece and what they're
Yeah.
going through. Hell, if you look at, and wait, the funny thing is, man, because it was like maybe a few months ago, right, when the Ukrainian thing first started, had refugees. Man, they showed a refugee camp of 3
I saw
Ukrainian
that.
women
Yep.
having sex for
Yep.
transactional sex in the alley,
Yep.
outside,
Outside
right
in the
outside
alley at night. Yep.
at night. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that was deep. That was
yeah,
deep.
it was deep. Yeah,
Didn't care who was recording. It was about getting it in.
by getting in, I need uh, money for food.
While at the same time, and we've all talked about this on YouTube, the whole press to send men into war. There was no
Mm-hmm.
equivocating on who was a man and who wasn't. If you
Mm-hmm.
had ever been a man at any point in time, a
Mm-hmm.
gun was put in your hand,
Yeah.
and the women and children left on a train. So
Yep. Yep.
you see, when it comes to that militarism or sex, the
Mm-hmm.
dynamics play out in a very straightforward manner.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's if you got an XY chromosome, yeah, you got to put on a truck to the front.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you did, and we're still kind of seeing that. But I'm saying we're seeing those dynamics play out here, and I just kind of wanted to put it out there because as brothers kept sending me these videos, it was like, this is going down, and it's something Donnie in the comments asked a few minutes ago. He said,
Mm-hmm.
"Is anybody else getting the big head text again?" Um, yeah,
Hey
there
Donnie,
you go.
did they ever stop? That's the
Well,
thing. Did
hey,
they ever stop? Not that you get it. Did they ever stop?
hey, good question.
Yeah, I got. I think this year I got 2 straight up proposals.
Damn.
I told you about one. Well, I told you about those, Doc. And one for my high school girlfriend, man. I ain't seen her in 40 years. In 30 years. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. This is where we are.
This is where we are, man. You know, but hey, it is what it is. The thing is, what are you Negroes gonna do? That's not the question. We know what they're gonna do. What are you guys gonna do? Yeah, Italy is probably on the way, according to some sources. They haven't fallen yet because Italy is a gateway to immigrants, so they're keeping Italy afloat. They don't want Italy to become Greece, but um, basically we used to call them the pigs, right? Basically Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain are the pigs, and
Okay.
they're all on the cusp.
Shout
In
out
fact,
to
in fact, you had a lot of white boys moving to those countries for cheap pussy. Believe it or not.
AKs and Curtains for the support. Um,
Appreciate you.
Gang member says Germany and Netherlands have red light districts.
Yeah, they do, but the thing is, it's controlled. Okay, they control it because they don't want it to spread to the broader population, so it's controlled. This is uncontrolled stuff. This permeates throughout the whole society, and if you get this kind of cultivated prostitution through, like I say, because um when I first looked at it, right, this has got to be about 5 years ago, right? Um, there were no more than there was less than basically in a country that has 300 million people and maybe like almost 200 million women. You only had less than a million prostitutes.
Mm,
What happens? And that's much less than one. That's like 0.3%. What happens when you get 10%
mm,
that are prostituting?
mm.
What's that going to do to the society?
Right.
10% of chicks out there selling themselves. And you got to remember, California just abandoned its loitering laws. So in other words,
Mm.
basically, a chick can sell without fear of the police. They can actually sell their coochie on the street. They just did
Wow.
that maybe a few months ago. So it's happening already.
Well, and brothers are clearly interested because I got 700 people watching right now. It's just a little more than
Oh, oh,
usual.
oh, 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 wait a minute. Stop the show. Where the likes at? Y'all
Yeah.
listening and y'all getting free game, you know, or near free game. Y'all at least if you can't donate to the good professor because I always support my scholars. Okay, hit the like button. Okay, it's the least that you can do.
So we got Larry. Larry says,
Hmm.
Doctor, Mexico, Colombia, Germany, Belize, Thailand, Philippines, Brazil, Ukraine,
Ukraine's
Costa
bad.
Rica, Rico, even Canada and UK.
Yeah, but the what we're really looking at as a template is probably closer to Greece. Look at Greece. Greece is a very patriarchal society and
Mhm.
very was a very what do you call it, old traditional society. And when their money collapsed, their whole society just collapsed, and basically most of the women just became prostitutes. So that would be the closest to what might happen to the United States. Okay.
Mm, mm, mm. This is deep,
Yeah,
man.
this is serious. Uh, guys have been saying they wish for this, but thing is that you might not like the way it pans out.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about New York in 2021, where
Hmm.
we were seeing people,
Oh yeah, on the street.
engaging in
Yeah,
prostitution in broad daylight.
and they weren't black.
No,
Those women
weren't
are not
black,
black.
broad daylight, recording.
Hmm.
I saw two people having sex at a crosswalk,
Hmm.
and I'm like,
Oh hell yeah.
it's definitely going, and people know about it, but it's interesting to me to see, how it's being discussed or not discussed,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that I'm always intrigued by. So we got Christopher Lee. Christopher says many women have to go through a learning process all over again because mothers have raised their daughters to devalue men, reducing them to sex and money.
They have. They have.
And this has been generations in the making.
Oh yeah.
There's always been a comfortable assumption that government would provide safety nets,
Hmm.
and it didn't seem like there was ever any reflection on what happens when that safety net isn't there. What you tell me? What was the shift in that?
You go back and look at read. All you have to do is read um, any Dickens stories. Okay, where you
Hmm.
had orphans and you had people starving in the street. That's what it's like without the safety net.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and people are looking at inflation and food in particular, like you said earlier, with that
Hmm.
same kind of lens. Are we headed
Hmm.
toward that kind of dynamic.
Yeah, and basically you had your economy was basic economy was way better in the 70s. You still had manufacturing, you still had cars, you still had America still had money, but it wasn't they were under stress. But we're 50 years away from that. This is a very different place. It's
Mm,
a very different world than it was back in the 70s. So if this gets out of hand, it could get really, really bad. Okay.
mm,
And I think the women are feeling it because women always have their ear to the ground. They're feeling it. Okay. They're basically women are actually losing hope. That's the
mm.
problem with them. They're losing hope. You can tell. This young lady has lost hope.
Damn, damn. Shout out to Edward. I see him in the chat. What's going on, man? All right. Let me see. Trying to sift through a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure y'all send in your questions. Like I said, we giving good brother his flowers while he's here. We're not gonna
Yeah.
wait until he's gone. Uh,
If you got a question, man, it's easier for Doc. It's still easier for Doc. A dollar super chat will do fine just to highlight a question because it's kind of hard to sift. We got 700 people in here, so.
and yeah, it's trip. So you can tell this is something that people. It's on people's minds. I
Mhm.
think brothers have had experiences. We've just not been used to having platforms to talk about it because this isn't new.
No,
It
it is
isn't
not.
necessarily new, but there might be a frequency shift that's been going on this last 5 years.
This is like this. If it goes down that way, right? I'm not saying that it will. If it goes down that way, basically this is the crack era on steroids as
Yeah.
far as family formation. This is on steroids because the crack era was limited to urban black people for the most part, right? And it was slow rolling out. Okay. This is on a scale of economic uh, downturn. I mean, really severe economics instead of drugs and stuff like that.
Right.
Even in the crack area, you can still get a job. You can still function. All right.
Hmm.
It might not be the job that you want, but you could still function. Okay. You
Hmm.
could still kind of manage because prices were low. You have high prices. You're going to have high interest rates. You're going to have people losing their jobs. You're going to have sky high inflation. You cannot have 30% inflation. Okay. Because if inflation keeps up like this, you're going to be on the verge of Weimar Germany back in the 20s, which no modern state has ever gone through.
So MLR says we're seeing a spike of grocery store robberies in our area of Texas.
Hmm.
Um, Akialis says, "Damn, I'm gonna have to talk to my wife about some ish. Y'all are bringing some heavy stuff."
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Lewis. Lewis says the American experiment is about to end.
It is the American experiment is over. Okay, the unipolar moment is over. So the American experiments from 1945 onward is over. Okay, they're not telling you about it. I would love to tell you about it. Can't do it here because there's stuff that's going on in the background that would blow your mind, especially since a lot of stuff that partnerships are actually in place since the end of uh, the the what do you call it, the gold dollar, right? When the dollar is actually based on gold, when Nixon took us off the gold standard. So
Mm,
the Bretton Woods one was ended in 1971, right? So they made a Bretton Woods two basically with dealing with the petrodollar and other such entities, right? So that stuff is being severely stressed right now. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Go ahead, Doc.
no, Steven says I tap in regularly, but I'll make it a point to support with my wallet more. This transactional society we moving towards is tough on the pockets. Where are the women who actually value black men?
They've never been trained to value you in that way. Okay. I mean, they value as a. We've been CompuSerfs for so long; they expect us to remain CompuSerfs.
Yeah, you're not supposed to question that role
You're not
either.
supposed to question that. Yeah, you're just supposed to put on the cape and leap. Okay.
Well, this is an interesting one from
Uh,
Drape. He says, I'm 70 years old in good shape, chatting with a 40-year-old, eight who realized it was a great place financially. Next question she posed was, when can go out? I don't know
when
if I
can we go out? Yeah.
when we go
In
out.
other
Okay.
words, yeah. She's trying to figure out how either she's trying to figure out how to eat or trying to make you a sugar daddy. But the thing is now, if you're chatting with her, uh, make her give up a phone number and talk to her. You know, Or if you really like her that much, man, go ahead and put her on the payroll. Don't even play around
We
when they
got
go out.
we got Light Bearer in the house. What's up? Says the scholars legitimize the space. Thank you, BGS and Dr. J. What's
Oh
up?
yeah, well, Dr. J was the first. He's the pioneer, man. I said he's our Captain America,
Ah,
and the black one. That's why we call him the Dr. Truth.
why,
He's the first one.
why the black ones gotta have no power, man? I want powers. Anyway.
Wait, he had the serum. He had the serum. He Dr. Truth had the serum. He was a badass.
Oh,
He was too much of a badass. They had to chain him up. Okay.
oh man. Let me see. We got Hunter. Hunter says it boils down to the barbarians are at the door.
Yeah,
And then
pretty
we
much.
have Keith says had to explain to my wife that in hard times women look for a sponsor. When she noticed a woman sizing me up at the market,
Think of COVID. Yep. 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 And watch out for the Latinas too.
I've never seen this many invitations for poly in my life, man. It's a trip.
Oh man. Oh
It is
man.
a trip.
You don't have to give them a bed. Just put a cot in the corner.
Shout out to Felix. Welcome to the Onyx Brotherhood. Man, this is ridiculous, man. But this
Oh
is
yeah.
what brothers are dealing with. I mean, you used the analogy a little earlier. I don't know if people caught it, but musical chairs is real talk.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
what we're looking at. And we've been looking at it the last few years, but it's kicked up again.
And there's more. And the thing is, what black women don't realize, there's more players.
Mm,
It's not. They're not just like I
mm.
said. I saw. Maybe I need to do a video on this. But thing is, I saw some. I think it was O'Shea did the video on a white stepdaddy,
Oh wow.
with a white woman and two white kids, and she slotted him in. That's what's going to happen.
She slotted in what, a black stepdaddy? You talking about a white woman?
A white woman with two white children slotted in a black stepdaddy.
No, and that's not an. I know a couple of brothers right now who are stepfathers to white kids, and these are brothers
Mm-hmm.
that consider themselves nationalists and Pan Africanists, but
Mm-hmm.
they got a better offer
They got a better
in terms of
deal.
treatment, and
Yeah.
now they're raising white kids, and it is what
Yes.
it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Ebo Sosa says I've noticed a rise in pandering again as well. Shout out
Oh
to you,
yeah.
Ebo Sosa.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but go ahead. What were we gonna say?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the whole thing. Because I would love to dig in and see what is he getting out of it, because I know that's got to be
Peace,
that's not an easy thing to be walking around
peace,
with a white family.
peace.
Peace.
Peace. And that's and I say that with confidence because I've been in dialogue with these brothers, and they're not looking for money. The sex is, is what it is. They're enjoying it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not the primary draw. These
Yeah.
brothers, especially when you get over 50, you talk, where you have brothers with resources, they're
Mm-hmm.
primarily focused on peace.
Mm-hmm.
So these I have a couple of brothers that just reach out to me on a regular basis and tell me what they're doing. One of my boys right now is RVing across the country. So he doesn't even call or text anymore. He just sends me pictures of him on a hammock in front of a
Yeah.
goddamn mountain. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, but peace. That's what a lot of brothers are talking about right about now. We got chemistry in the building. He says back in 2020, I had physical security hardening done to my house. Perhaps thieves will pass me by.
They probably will, because if these will look for easy targets, not looking for. They don't want to work hard. Otherwise, they'd have jobs.
This is an interesting one. We got Prime VA says my girl is Japanese Filipino, works at Lockheed Martin, and still knows her role as a woman.
Because she was trained to be that. She is a roles have to be trained. Okay, they have to be brought up. Okay, you people don't. These roles don't come out of nowhere. They have to be embedded into the children. Okay, so she's embedded into a culture that focuses on wife and mother, because it's supposed to be automatic.
Mm.
This whole stuff that get married and all this adjustment shouldn't be. Should be automatic. Put two people together that like each other. You do your thing, she does hers.
Well, we got another from McGill. How can we help our daughters and sisters out of this? I try to talk to my family about the importance of coupling, but sometimes it goes over their head.
Okay, we gotta think of whether and I've talked to the Latino young lady that I buy lotto tickets from, right? And she said the same thing, right? She's not necessarily saying that her daughter that she's raising has to be a wife, But the
Hmm.
thing is, she should know how. She's training her to have those kind of skills and abilities. So
Right.
whether she chooses to be a wife or not, that's up to her. But the thing is, if she gets into a point where she wants to be a wife, she doesn't have to figure it out. All
It's an
she got,
option.
it's automatic. Yeah,
It's an option. Yeah. If you
yeah,
have those skills, but those skills tend to be rare these
yeah.
days. Most
Nowadays, yeah,
women that I meet who are wives to the core have been married years ago.
yeah.
Um, Aaron says if things are getting worse, why are they doubling down? And that's an
Uh,
interesting question because I've run across a few women that are doubling down on this whole independence kick, even when they're starving or struggling. What is that?
because of their worldview, they don't know anything else. They
Mhm,
don't know how to submit. They don't know how to be a wife. So
mhm,
all they can do is double down on what they already have. So it's like a boxer. Okay, if uh, if I'm getting slugged out, and all I know how to do is jab, I don't have anything else. You have to double down on the jab. Have the jab
right.
faster.
Shout out to Dr. Thunder in the building. Good to see you in here, man.
What's up, Doc? Saw you at Freedom Fest, Doc.
Yeah. Art New still popped in earlier. Shout out to him if he's still here. So Waffle Weave says, I try to get my students to think ahead and look at trade or other careers that will keep them afloat.
Okay, if you're talking about students, and this is probably a little off the subject, it has to be transferable skills to someplace else, right? It can't just be the local economy. You have to have internationally transferable skills. That is the best way to actually teach your students. Teach them they have to learn more than one language, preferably Chinese. Okay, that
Mm,
will give them advantage. Okay,
right.
if you know how to speak three languages, Europeans speak three languages, right?
Mhm.
Africans speak three languages. Americans only speak one. They have to learn more than one language. They have to have transferable skills because your job may not be here in America. In fact, I wish I could find the sound of it because this guy said it back in 2006. He said the children of America would be on boats uh, looking for jobs.
Wow.
He said it back in 2007. He saw this coming.
Shout out to Todd Muhammad. He said a man must value his peace of mind more than anything else in this world. That way he can expand his lifespan. And this message is coming right when reports of Brother Kevin Samuel's passing due to
Hmm.
hypertension have come
And
out.
stress, yeah, and
And
stress, working
stress,
himself to death. Yeah,
working himself to death. Didn't even get to enjoy the
no,
resources that he had amassed.
no.
So shout out to him and peace to him. And I hope you brothers take something from that. We got CJ Jackson says, yeah, it seems no matter what age group, I'm 56, age group of men, we're getting the messages.
Yeah, well, yeah. The economy hits everybody,
Yeah.
and a lot of women in their, well, a lot of women in that age bracket, Gen X, divorce their husbands,
Mm, hmm.
thinking
Sure
that I
did.
can make it on my own,
Yeah.
and then they find out that I should have kept my husband because I didn't think it would be like. They thought it was going to be like. White women are way more intuitive about that, right? They get about 50, 56. They said
About
let's not take
survival.
about survival. They really are. They're way more in tune to this kind of economic survival because it's in their cultural memory. Okay, we don't really have that long of a cultural memory because of our experience, but
Right.
they do. They remember potato famines and stuff like that where things were really hard. They remember the depression. Okay,
Yeah.
and they don't want to get caught up in that. So
Well, shit. I mean, starting in their late teens, white women start playing the game hard. Like I remember
yes, they
even
do
as a kid watching it, I didn't understand what was going on, but they were playing the keeps for keeps at a young
Mm,
age.
at a young age. Yes.
And my community, women aren't socialized to think about serious relationships till they mid-30s, damn near. Great I9 says black women were not prepared for the black masculinist turn. This is a new paradigm that has never been seen in a collapse. What will black women do now?
Oh, we're gonna find out, won't we, Great Eye?
I mean,
We're
and
going
that's
to
a real
find out.
question. That's a real question because I've never seen this many black men outspoken
It's never
about their
happened before.
mistreatment, about what they're not willing to take anymore. And even though it's not being celebrated the way we see women's, kind of rebellion celebrated, but men themselves don't even seem to care if it's being celebrated.
Well, black men have only been out of the cultural box for a generation, man. I think Gen X may be the first ones that got really kind of peeked out of the cultural box because
Okay.
boomers and all this stuff, but those laws weren't even anti-miscegenation laws weren't struck down till damn near 1970, right?
Mhm.
And basically Gen X is probably the first people to actually kind of experience it. But thing is, it was never fully implemented until what we see now. So black men have always been in a cultural box. They couldn't date out. They couldn't marry out. Very difficult. Okay, until now. Now black men have choice. So now that's what's causing the turn. I don't have to be with you.
Right.
I'm not required to be with you. Well, my mama black, but guess what? That doesn't matter. My mama's not my wife or my
Well,
girlfriend.
and this is the first time I've really seen even being a monk.
Hmm.
I won't say celebrated, but as an acceptable option. Like
Hmm.
I'm seeing men. I'm seeing men in their teens and early 20s
Hmm.
that are jumping into monkhood who have just checked out. This is
Hmm.
the first time in my life I even know kids in their mid-teens. Because when we were in our mid-teens, we were chasing women left and right.
Yes.
Seeing young men in their mid-teens that have checked out.
Right.
They haven't even checked in yet, and they
Right.
don't care. Shout out to Mr. A. He says, with things like this happening, is the case for old-fashioned women with religious values, virgins, conservatives, etc., even more valuable.
They've always been valuable. Thing is, they haven't been created. The thing is, people think women like that. Men, husbands and wives have to be trained because they're roles. Okay, they're not innate. People think that they're innate. They're not. They have to be socialized and trained into the children, so they grow up to be that and actually accept those roles. Okay, they haven't done that for like 3 generations. They're not there.
Hmm.
So the ones that are there will be or will stand out like a sore thumb.
Let me see.
Like
We got.
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Finish.
I was gonna say before that. I always say, uh, back in the '60s, maybe the early '70s, you could throw a rock into a pack of women and pick a wife. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, you can't, you can't even do that now. But
Yeah.
basically, you throw, basically, if you throw a rock in a pack of women, it's gonna come out the other side. It won't hit a wife because there aren't any in that pack. Like I said, it's like looking for a hay fiber, a hay in a stack of needles. Got to get stuck so many times just to find that little um, hay strand.
We got Project 8020 says, do you think black women don't understand legacy, children, home, property, last name, or do they simply just not care about it?
They don't understand it because it's not in their worldview.
Mhm.
Because they haven't been taught. They taught to be taught to focus on their careers and being selfish.
It's a,
So
it's a very myopic and solipsistic
yes,
kind of outlook.
thank you,
It,
Professor.
because when you listen to them talk about their
Yeah.
aspirations, the projects they engage. Look, I have never in my life seen this many entrepreneurs only sell to their own demographic.
Hmm.
Go into LinkedIn sometime and look at how many black women have set up stores and businesses only for other black women to patronize them.
Hmm.
This is a capitalist system. Most people set up businesses to be patronized by the majority if they can.
Hmm.
It yields them more resources. I have never seen this many businesses created by one demographic only for itself. Does that even work? Especially if
No,
you're only targeting half of one of the poorest communities in the country.
that does not. It's limited.
Doesn't make any sense. MLR, shout out. He says the word peace is a commodity that most black men cherish. Once we pass the age of 50, ask me how I know.
Oh yeah, we at once. Hell, you ask Dr. Johnson's son. He's not even 18 yet. He cherishes peace.
Oh man, please. You ain't having it. Mr. A, train a child in the way they should go and they won't depart from it. Most
That's true.
powerful Bible verse. Women think they can wake up and be feminine. It will only look fake compared to the real thing.
Basically, women think feminine means putting on a short skirt with your boobs out and a pile of makeup and a weave. That's feminine to them.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
they believe it. I put on heels. I can be feminine. Okay, be feminine. They go and put on beat their face with makeup, put a weave, put the eyelashes on, put a weave on their head, and put on heels. I'm feminine. Really? That's feminine to them. I shit you not. That's what they think feminine is.
Shout out to Teresa for the PayPal. Shout out to Crispus for a generous cash app. Appreciate that. And then we got Lightbearer. Lightbearer came back through. Says economic downturn was my zombie apocalypse. Since Kosovo go down,
You saw yeah. Yep.
it says I'll be selling remote motion sensors, concussion bows, and computerized automated turrets. Come get
Turrets.
them before I go to Ghana. That's real talk.
Everybody bailing to Ghana, man. Everybody
Yeah.
bailing out.
Yeah. Shout out to KC for that support.
Appreciate you, Casey.
I'm just looking for questions at this point. Dardar says, he says, I don't need a man. Black women, I don't have to be with you. Black men.
No, you don't. You can pick a Latino, you can pick a white man, you can pick an Asian man, whatever 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 chair, color chair that you want. Okay.
Hmm.
If you can find a chair to sit in it.
Now, I haven't read it yet. I don't know if I'm gonna have to apologize after I post it because Marcus be off the chain.
Oh, he ain't shit, but that's okay. Go ahead and read it.
So hold up, we want to work to put these women back in the position to stunt on us. We're concerned. Why? Are we this masochistic? Man, Hulk smash.
Well, Marcus, basically, and this is the problem, because this is something I was talking to Obie Allen about, right? This is socialized. This is programmed into you. And what we're trying to do, what Dr. Johnson and I are trying to do is unprogram you, at least know how you're programmed. So we're basically trying to give you this red pill to wake you up.
As a
So
choice.
look at the matrix. You can go back in the matrix if you want to, but the thing is, you have a choice.
You have a choice. Look at this. Purging Simps. I'm 26. Monk mode. Juice isn't worth the squeeze for me. When have you seen 26-year-old men publicly celebrating that they have checked out?
It has been rare because I come from the MGTOW community, so you do see them occasionally. But thing is, I think what's happened is really COVID. COVID got everybody a break. Like you couldn't really go out and do what you used to do. You had to be go into monk mode. And what they're finding out is there are benefits to monk mode. It's not people complain about it and said, okay, how can you go without female companionship? But the thing is, once you get into it and figure out how much emotional labor they have to give up just to get that, okay, how much you have to give up just to get them, other than just money, because we always talk about the money and resources, right? We don't think about all the relationship emotional labor you have to put into a relationship from a man, especially from a black man. It's tons, man, and that's the biggest thing. Like I'm a monk. That's what kept me from going back. It wasn't the money. Because I tried to give women the money, right? I'll pay you this much a month, baby, 3 times a week. Okay. She wanted the emotional labor more than the money.
Yeah. I can tell you, I'm what you might call an accidental monk. You know this. I just tripped into it, and then you get to a place where and this is mainly 2020, so COVID hit, and I was at home, and then I was like, I woke up one morning, and I said, "Hey, my reality is peaceful." My bank account is the same as it was yesterday. My house is peaceful, it's quiet, and I just got to a point where every time I met somebody, it was like, yeah, no, I'm actually enjoying the peace. And it wasn't a plan. I'm not trying to be a monk, but it can get comfortable when you can predict peace. And shout out to Edward for this. He's invoking something that I was so grateful that Kevin really put into the lexicon. Order 66. Real talk. But anyway, go ahead. I think I cut you off.
No. Basically, and the thing is that people think that monks have always been around. So that's nothing. That's stoicism. Monks have always been around for thousands of years. So that's not unusual. That's not unusual. But the thing is that most modern men, especially in America, do not know the benefits of monkhood. There's downsides, but there are also benefits that come from it. And men are now learning the benefits of monkhood.
Yeah.
And sex becomes optional. So I think the COVID kind of gave men a gift. Okay, you're not going to die if you don't have sex this month. You're not going to die. Okay, what benefits are you going to get from not having sex or being engaged emotionally with a woman? You start learning the benefits of it. Go ahead.
Well, and I think there's also a greater appreciation for peace, and that's the thing between work and women, and my reality has just always been go 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 go. So when I had to sit still and I didn't have a choice, you know what I mean? It's when COVID hit, my son looked at me and was like, "Dad, I need you to be careful," because he already lost one parent. He wasn't playing with this. So a lot of what I did was for my son. So I sat still. And then after a while, it was like, this is quiet. And I like quiet. I know I like quiet. I really enjoyed that piece. We got Eric O says, showing support, great discussion. Emotional labor talking point is spot on. It's real talk. Jay Scar, appreciate that contributions. He says, how can well-traveled brothers like myself mentor younger brothers so that they can acquire the same global freedom and respect that we receive overseas?
The thing is, you have to talk about the contrast or what you get overseas at a deeper level. A lot of guys says easy pussy, they're cooperative feminine. No, you have to go into detail. Okay. What is the difference between traditionally trained women versus women that are not traditionally trained? and the difference. And that's what you have to go into. Not just overseas dealing with women, I'm having a good time. No, I always say, I always give the example about the women in Guatemala, right? They have nothing but things. They give more deference, femininity, cooperation than the richest black women here.
Mm,
So the thing is, they have a culture that trains them to be that way. The
yeah,
thing is, you have to emphasize not the women, but the culture.
yeah. We got no, we got 860 watching. I just popped to 850. So make sure you hit the like button if you will. AKs and Curtain says, "Do you think celibacy is how some black women cope with what's going on today?"
And some will, but the thing is, celibacy is just about sex. Women can do celibacy, right? The thing is, financially, can they do without a man's help? This is the difference. So it's not about sex because
Well,
they could
people
be. Go ahead.
Well, no, I want to add to that because people we've been told, especially
Hmm.
in the black community, that black women don't need us, that they're doing well, that they're balling. I mean, what did Rebecca Lynn Pope say? Black women are running circles around men. This
Yeah.
is not true, but
Right.
this is the popular narrative that we've been hearing about. And so I think many brothers have internalized this idea that they're doing so well they don't need us. But most
Hmm.
people don't know at every age from 18 to 65, they still earn less than black men.
They do.
You have a small percentage of them, and I keep using this analogy because I think it's true. If you're in LA, New York, Atlanta, maybe San Francisco, and you see 5 or 6 women in an expensive restaurant dropping hundreds, if not, I don't know, thousands on a dinner, that's
Hmm.
one thing. But that's not the average black woman. That's the image we see in media. That's not the case on an
Yeah.
average basis.
And women do not do well by themselves. All right. They need to partner with somebody. Men will much more adapt to actually being by themselves and alone than women are. Women need to be social. Women need partners. Emotionally, they need partners.
Yeah. Which is why dying alone is much scarier for them. For men, it's a possibility many of us accept. I mean, it
Yeah.
hurts my heart to read about, but it's
Yeah.
part of black male life. For
Yeah. Oh,
women,
male
dying
life.
alone is
Period.
an
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah. Male life. Period. We've been biologically tuned to being out there in danger and dying alone because you might be out in the woods and get lost or get killed out there. So you're used to dying that way. So women are not. They're not tuned that way. They're tuned to be social.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
they are.
Narc perspective says, how do we 80 to 100,000 brothers? I think 80 to $100,000 brothers who are in trades navigate this economic situation with women. And that was one of the reasons I brought you on to,
Hmm.
to help brothers navigate this space where casual prostitution is becoming more and more the norm. How do they navigate it?
Okay.
Protect their resources. Shout out to Officer
First,
in the building.
first thing. Okay. Um, at this stage of the game, you really have to learn how to vet your women. Okay, don't bring nobody into your house that you really haven't known for a long time, and don't be anybody else's house you haven't known for a long time. If you need to have sex, you know, if you earn from 80 to 100K and you really need sex on a regular basis, go ahead and pay her up front.
Hmm. Hmm.
Get you a sugar baby.
Hmm.
Protect yourself. But get you a sugar baby. Get you a sugar mama. Okay, get whatever you need because it becomes transactional. But don't open yourself up for any kind of risk. Okay,
Hmm.
in these climates, because you have desperate people out there. Don't know
Right.
who these people are,
Right.
so you got to really vet these people because they weren't socialized like the old fashioned women that actually knew how to act, knew how to be in a household. They don't. Okay,
Mhm.
they've been
Yeah.
trained to be selfish and predatory. You got a lot of predatory women out there. Be really careful. So my thing is that if it's cheap, if all you want is sex, man, don't even bother with a relationship. Just go out and buy it because it's cheap enough. It's cheap enough. And basically, places like California actually are making it damn near legal. So it's easier to pay $10, $15 to get your rocks off rather than risk your household and your paycheck and your career
And your
with
retirement.
and your retirement with some chick.
Yeah. Dig Thug, shout out to him for the support, says feminine equals welcoming, receiving, absorbing, open. Masculine is intrude, invade, approach, penetrate, enter. Once women have been given more autonomy, the freedom to intrude, invade, approach, penetrate, and enter was given access.
Well, the thing is, there was actually, feminism actually trained women to be men.
Hmm.
That was their thing because they wanted equity with men in a man's place, and
Hmm.
basically that's what all feminism is really at its base is having women having the rights, same rights, and and responsibilities as men. That's really what it was from the social contract. They wanted the same rights and privileges as men. So
We
that's
got
all it really is.
we got Mr. Tolbert says I'm in
Hmm.
the DMV area and they make 6 figures, but they make 10-figure decisions,
Yes, they do.
leaving them broke, zero investments, zero 401k / Roth IRA, just living for now.
Yeah, yeah. They're doing the Instagram life.
Yeah.
They want to pop bottles, travel, and they're trying to live a $1 million lifestyle on $100,000.
See, BGS knows this because we talk all the time, but I have this tendency to go into what I call sociologist mode.
Hmm.
I'm having a conversation with people and I will forget my environment. I'll forget everything going on. I may even forget why I'm in the space I'm in to do whatever I'm doing. If I get into a conversation and something seems interesting, I just go into, asking questions and listening. And so I had my first conversation with a sugar baby.
Mm.
And, I told you about this. This was really interesting.
Hmm.
She's actually giving me her price list. I'm taking notes and asking questions on how she even got there. But it was
Hmm.
interesting as hell to have a conversation with a sugar baby looking and interviewing for a sugar daddy. And she
Hmm.
gave me her price list. And he knows I was taking notes because as soon as I got off the phone, I called him with like a note sheet. I was like, dude, I'm just kind of discussing it. And it took a while for it to dawn on me that she was actually trying to offer me a price list. I'm just taking it in. But it was interesting to hear
Hmm.
from, what we might call a soccer mom, somebody, I'd seen around the schools, we had
Hmm.
kids in school together.
Conservative sugar baby. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you got women that you would never imagine if you looked at her, you'd never imagine that that's what she was doing until you
Hmm.
have a conversation. And if she likes you, she'll show you her price list. And and she started reading me off the kind of thing. And then she said, but what you pay depends, will determine how much time I extend to you and so on and so forth. But it's interesting to hear because we hear about these kind of things, but if you
Hmm.
never sat down and talked to one, it's an
Hmm.
interesting dynamic. But it feeds into the video I played earlier,
Right, it
what
does.
we're talking about, because it's that much more casual. I've
Hmm.
known about her. We're not tight. I've seen her around schools over the years. Our kids were in elementary together, but she never made me an offer. So there's a difference in the environment where these women are becoming even more forthright and
Hmm.
they're approaching people with a little more gusto because things are getting real out here. Things are getting real. So shout out to Rick Jackson, sends in some support. Um Also shout out to Shadow Dog Law, and I'll hit BGS,
No, appreciate you.
yeah. Let me scroll down looking for, okay, so it looks like we might have finally caught up on some of these questions. But all I can say is I really just want brothers to be very careful because some of these offers are coming in all kinds of ways. And if you're
Ooh, and
not really,
they're going to increase too, so
they're
it's
going to
not going to slow
increase.
down. Yeah.
And if you're not careful, you might end up in an arrangement that you're not prepared for. So I really just wanted to put this on the table to get people to think about it because it's coming from people that I just never imagined would go there. Oh
Hmm.
shit, we got Bakuru in the building.
The old, my companion, old Negro. Okay.
When my younger daughter was in college a few years ago, she said probably half her female peers were or at some point been sugar babies. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And
Oh
see, when
yeah.
you're a young man in school with them, unless you now
Hmm.
some of y'all are far more, attentive than I was. When I was a
Hmm.
kid in school and undergrad, I wasn't thinking like this. All I saw was the women everybody wanted dated older men.
Hmm.
It never dawned on me to really, question about what sugar babies were and how it functioned. I just knew
Hmm.
they always had older men with resources. But now it's becoming so brazen, and I'm now starting to see some of my students
Hmm.
who are sugar babies and
Hmm.
realizing in retrospect how many of them offered me the price plan. But you got to be real careful with how you do that. And so if people are not even thinking on that level, they'll do
Right.
it and you won't even know it.
Right.
And they don't want to get a poor grade or anything of that nature. But these are the kind of things that are happening. And I just want brothers to be aware that even the person you least expect, that you never would imagine, it could be a work colleague, a student, it could be anything, a friend of your child. Be mindful of the situations you in and the kind of offers you might get and
Yep.
the trouble you can end up in if you're not careful
Yep.
behind people really out there looking to eat off of you.
Yep. Yep.
And it
There.
can work against you. They can sue you and accuse you of things you haven't done. All of this is playing into the desperation of the moment.
Hmm. Everything's predatory right now. So
predatory as hell, man. Oh my god, these are some of the prettiest sharks that I've never seen in my life.
And they teeth this shop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But that 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 game around the chair is real.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the music is just starting to slow, as they say in the margin call.
It's got
We're
real.
we're
Yeah,
we're, we're, we're to stop this projection wouldn't be even close. I think I might play that, man. What this model shows is the music is just starting to slow.
mm,
Were it to stop,
mm.
this projection wouldn't be even close.
Oh man. Oh man. But anyway, so 889 watching, like, share, subscribe, join, and donate, support the channel. These are the conversations men have got to have. Because the thing about it is, if you get taken down
Hmm.
by any of this, nobody cares. Nobody calls you worried about it. Nobody, you get taken down, nobody cares. I'm interested in making sure you don't. I'm interested in making sure you're able to take care of yourself, especially
Hmm.
your kids, and not have to be worried about it. But these are the kind of things that nobody else talks to us about but us.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and
Even because if people like Facebook are laying off engineers and software programmers and stuff like that, that means that a lot of your 100K people could get hit.
mm,
She may have been earning 100K
mm,
6 months ago, right? And all of a sudden, because of cutbacks, they could cut her off, right? She don't have no place else to go, you know, and she could wind up on your couch with
ooh,
with 100K taste. So be careful.
ooh. You know what? Thank you. You just remind me of one of the stories the sugar baby told me. She said
Hmm.
she has a 2-year old. I said, well, how did that happen? She said, well, I moved in with a friend a couple years ago, and we were having sex, and I got pregnant.
Mm.
I was just like, you know, hmm, interesting.
Hmm.
You were having sex. So in other words, what ended up coming out, she was paying for the place with sex. She was paying to live there with
Okay.
sex, and she got
Mm.
pregnant
Mm.
and was basically looking for long-term security.
Hmm.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? So I'm just saying, brothers, be very careful. That's all I
Be
can tell you.
extremely careful, especially those red states where they don't have that out card
Mm,
called abortion.
mm,
Okay, real careful because they can actually get prenatal child support. All she got to do is take the prenatal DNA test before she even has the baby. She can start collecting child support. So
mm,
be really careful. Okay, really careful with your seed.
mm. Marcus says, I know a girl like that trying to make it in LA.
Oh, there's lots of them, in LA. Yeah.
These are the womb hustles. That
Mhm.
they hustle.
Yes, they are.
One of them. Drape says the predatory female Reverend Shannon Lawrence. Read it and be scared.
Oh, really? Okay.
He
Read
said,
that.
read it and be scared.
Oh, our Reverend wrote it. Okay. Okay.
Real talk. So look, y'all. Like I said, I wanted to give BGS his flowers while he was here. He called it a number of years ago, and I remember when brothers were arguing with him about it. But it's real. So
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You can see it coming, and I don't know how people couldn't. You can see it coming.
yeah. I told him I wasn't going to keep him that long, but his conversation went where it went. So I appreciate y'all for coming up. I appreciate you, BGS, and I wanted to do that publicly to let people know we appreciate you. So keep doing your thing. We looking out for the next video. I'm still pushing you to do the West African joint because I think it ties to this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But tell people what else they should look for.
Um, I'm going to try to do a little bit more about what's going on um, economically with this. Um, I've been requested to actually do more on matriarchy because people don't understand what a matriarchy is. They don't understand the structure of it.
Okay.
Difference between a patriarchy and matriarchy. Um, there's probably a few things in the hopper. I need to do more on my Black Pill Gnostic channel, which is much more about BFF, black female fuckery, about the dysfunction and the nature of women. So I
Okay.
need to probably going to put a few more things over there. But look for the West African thing. That's probably going to be on the Black Pill Gnostic channel.
Mhm.
Um, the interview is probably about an hour and a half long, so I'm gonna do a reaction to it. But
Oh,
a lot of stuff that they said, are actually not even subtle. It's brazen about
yeah.
what they expect out of black men and how they actually compare West African men to the men in the United States and what they expected, even though they don't say it, um, about how they're protected, how they're treated, all that kind of stuff. So the thing is that for they're low key singing the praise of African American men.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and at the same time, there are moments where they're trying to find a way to blame African American
Blame
men,
for,
and they can't.
for not being powerful enough to actually protect them. And well, because they wouldn't touch a white girl like that because
Well, but you know what it is though? They were trying to blame us because that was an escape hatch, and the
Hmm.
escape hatch didn't work. That's
Hmm.
what it's really what it is, and they're trying to blame us for jumping through the escape hatch. But that's really why I want you to touch on that,
Hmm.
because in as much as they're trying to say I don't have to be with you, we're
Hmm.
seeing the fallout of that reality. Shout
Yeah.
out to Eric Dedman. He says the layoffs are coming. Goldman Sachs already planning on layoffs by year end.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Things are
So
coming apart. So like I said, I've been saying the whole year, buckle up, and I put it in my community tab. I drop a message from a economist, and they say buckle up. It's gonna get rough.
shout out to Elwood, Mr. C, and Mr. Pac-Man for the cash apps. Appreciate that support. I want to thank you again for coming up here, man, on short notice because I didn't tell him. I called him about 20 minutes before the show. I
Yep.
said, "Hey, man, I want to do something with you on the air." He said, "What's it about?" I said, "I ain't telling you." so,
And
so he was
I
kind enough
got up
to
here. I saw the title. I said, "You the doc, Dr. T. Hasan Johnson, PhD, motherfucker. You ain't shit."
hashtag BGS was right. And brothers were putting that in my chat on Facebook for the last few days, and that wasn't something I pushed. That was something they created, and I'm just publicizing it, but they were calling it, they were calling it. It is what it
Yeah.
is. We've been
Yeah.
hearing this last for a few years from this circle.
Yeah, our model that we developed back in the mid 2000s, right, is try to look out 18 months to 2 years ahead. So we
Mhm.
actually give you some kind of leeway. Okay, these are the things you should look for. They may or may not happen. Probably they will. But these are the things to look for. So when they get there, you understand them. The thing
Mhm.
is not to if you can prepare for them, that's fine. The thing is, most people don't even know what they're looking at when it's going on. The thing is, if you're prepared for it already, can see it coming, you can actually do something about it when it shows up
Right.
because you know how to handle it. Most people don't. Most people is like years and they figure out, okay, this is what happened. Now, how do I fix it? Thing
Mhm.
is, just be prepared for it before it happens.
Hey,
Yeah,
all I'm
and
saying,
be careful. Be careful with your seed. Okay, just because they passed Roe v. Wade, there's not a victory for you. Okay, because this government is not going to take care of these babies. They're going to charge you. I can't stress to you. Be extremely careful with your seed. Okay,
oh yeah,
because they will come after you for child support, and they will come after you hard. You're not off the hook.
we are in the season of late night trench coats and sundresses with no underwear. So all I'm saying is you look through the keyhole of your front door and you see a trench coat at 10 o'clock
Hmm.
at night, hey,
Hmm. You know what's up?
guard your seed.
Guard your seed.
That's all I have to say about it, man. But again, thanks a lot, brother.
All right, Doc.
I'm gonna take them down. Shout out to all of y'all for supporting. If this is a conversation you want to see continue, shout out to me in the comments. I'm gonna be reading through them. These are the discussions that men need to have amongst men because we got to deal with the reality of our decisions. Nobody else does. So it's time we actually prepare each other for it. Right. In the meantime, I wish y'all well. I will probably see y'all tomorrow. Peace.